Welcome into our Saturday edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach here along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting and Mutuals. We're going to take a look at the Grade 2 Lexus Raven Run as well as Keeneland's late pick 4. And then we're also going to go up to New York and look at the Grade 2 Belmont Futurity. But let's start here in Kentucky with the Grade 2 Lexus Raven Run. This is always one of my favorite races because you get a big field, usually pretty well-matched group, and hard to settle in on who's going to be the horse to beat. I ended up going to Chocolate in here. This is 3-year-old fillies, by the way, going 7 furlongs. This horse won here in the spring, and out of that allowance win, Neil Howard, who's a pretty conservative guy, put her into a Grade 2 stake up at Pimlico. And she was actually well backed up there and ran okay. And then they tried her on turf, and that didn't work. And they tried her in a stake, I think, in Prairie Meadows. And then last time they put her in an allowance race. She wins for fun, little confidence boost, and now turning back from a mile to 7 furlongs. I just think there's a lot to like there for Chocolate. But I think Al Stahl's got a couple in here, paid-up subscriber and Chide, that are really tough. I like Chad Brown's filly. So I'm going to use, for the pick 4, 5 horses, the 6, the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 10. But I'm going to key on Chocolate in my Lexus Raven Run wagers and use her as the key in exacta boxes with those other 4. How about you?
You finally mentioned the horse that I like in your pick 4. I like Bar of Gold here. John Kimmel ships her down from Saratoga, where she ran really well against a nice filly called Cavorting. And there's no Cavorting in here. There's no Curalina in here. And if you take those races out, Bar of Gold has been right there every time. Threw it in a clunker in the Grade 1 Acorn at Belmont, kind of bit off more than she could chew. But she was competitive against Cavorting. Lost by 2.5 and lost by 3. Cavorting would be 1-5 in here. So I'm going to take Bar of Gold because of the competition she's faced. I also like your horse, Odd Chocolate, because of the experience at Keeneland. I like Cass Ballou for Kenny McPeak. Was maybe better last year, really showed a lot of promise breaking her maiden at Churchill and came back in the Goldenrod and threw a clunker. Then they put her off for a while, but she's got a lot of back class. I like Chide for Al Stahl, so I would play the 2, Bar of Gold, on top in a trifecta with 1, 5, 9, 10 with all, because I think there's a lot of competition for the second, third spots. But Bar of Gold is going to be my key here, and I'm going to use her as a single in pick 4.
Let's take a look at that late pick 4. It starts in the 7th race. Who are you beginning with?
This one's a tough little allowance race. The horse has only been out 1 or 2 times, but there could be some really good runners in here. I stuck on the 1-2-4 with Gunrunner for Rasmussen, Rafting for Graham Motion, and Bandwidth for Bridgemahan. I almost singled Bandwidth and went deeper later on, but I didn't feel like, the first race looks almost too good to be true. Broke dead last and then rushed up and won by 6 1/4, coming 5 wide down the stretch. You just don't know how good that race is, but one key is Synchrony came back and won the next race. And when you have a key race like that, where the horse that ran second to your horse by 6 1/4 comes back and breaks her maiden next time, breaks his maiden next time out, that is a true key race. So I think Bandwidth is a big shot here to run off and win this easily. But I'm going to cover myself with the 1 and the 2. I'm going to use 5-8 in the second leg, and that's I'm Already Sexy, who again was almost a single. This is going to be her last race before they sell her, according to Wayne Catalano yesterday, and she's been a great mare for them, and this may be a little bit of a tough effort for her, but it's actually they were going to retire her after Stucky Downs. They want to get one more in there, so I think she's well meant here. But I'm also going to use the 8-horse Emotional Kitten, Never Throw Out a Ramsey horse at the end of the Keeneland meet. Single the 2, Bar of Gold in the feature, and then go as deep as you can afford in the last race because I think it's wide open. I use the 1, Smoky Romance, the 5, Tanner's Popsicle, the 7, Casabo, and the 8, Almost English. So I would go 3 by 2 by single by 4, but you can afford more in the last race, spread out a little more.
Got a lot of the same horses, really. I like. I took Smart Moon in the first leg as my pick, but I like 1, 2, and 4 also. I like the same ones you do, and I'm just going to add the 5 as well. You start the pick 4 with all 4 of those. Then I'm going to just go with I'm Already Sexy and the 2 Ramsey horses in the next leg. Then I want all 5 of the ones I mentioned in the Lexus Raven Run. And then I like Tanner's Popsicle a lot in the last race, but I'm also going to use Smoke and Romance too, the 5 and the 1 in that last leg. So for me, it's going to be 4 by 2 by 5 by 2. Let's go up to New York. Grade 2 Belmont Futurity is their 3rd race on the card. Comes up early because it's got a small field. 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs. Who'd you like?
Yeah, it's I stuck on Ready Dancer here. I kind of threw out the last race, the 4-horse. The Saratoga race was very impressive when he broke his maiden, and they put him in the champagne, and he either bit off more than he can chew, or he got bumped at the start, or he hated the sloppy track. He got all kinds of excuses. He went off at 5-1, so he was probably 3rd choice in the champagne. And they bring him back in the Futurity. And I think you just draw a line through that race, and you look at those Beyer progressions, 53, 66, 85, and Ready Dancer looks like the favorite to me. I'd also use Full Salute, the 6, very consistent, but moves up in class coming from Monmouth and Parks, and I'm not sure if he can make that jump. And the King Crans, the 1, still a maiden, but showed huge improvement second time out for John Terranova. So they throw him off didn't break his maiden, so he's obviously eligible for a maiden race, and they're going to throw him in a grade 2 here, which shows a lot of confidence. But Ready Dancer would be my pick, using Full Salute and King Crans behind.
I'm going to use Manhattan Dan. The horse has been really consistent, training well, coming from the turf, but the pedigree looks like a horse that ought to be just fine on dirt. And so if he can run something similar to what he's been running, then I think he's got a big shot in here. I'm going to use him with Ready Dancer, Annual Report, who looked really impressive first time out for McLaughlin, and then Full Salute as well. I will also use in the Belmont Futurity. Best of luck on your wagers, and don't forget that Keeneland Select is always there when you can't make it to the track, so keep your account fully funded for this fall meet and for Breeders' Cup, so you'll always be ready. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money Podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.